Hey y'all. Welcome back to the Scaly Scoop here on Tippin' Scales. I'm the Tiger King, and this is my tiger. We'll get to the Chandler stuff in 2 shakes of a tiger tail. But first, that imposter Joe Maldonado in prison is back at it again. Last episode, we saw him writing to Joe of the Cincinnati Bengals, calling him out because the press labeled him the Tiger King. I have been the Tiger King since before you got out of high school. Tiger King is my trademark and intellectual property. Prison Joe did not take kindly to that, though he did then ask Joe Burrow for $20,000 to pay for his court expenses. Now he's gone after Florida State's quarterback Jordan Travis for calling himself the Tiger King too. Jordan Travis was 6 years old when I became the Tiger King. It is my trademark, my intellectual property, and I'm sick of others cashing in on my trademark just because President Biden cares nothing about me being wrongfully in prison in America. I will give any attorney 80% of the settlement to sue Jordan Travis and all companies selling stuff using Tiger King. Maldonado, a former staunch Trump supporter who is now running for president himself, changed his tune quickly when his request for a pardon was ignored by former President Trump. If I've ever looked up to anyone, it would be you. Not because I need you to save my life, but because you stand for what you believe, no matter what anyone thinks. Previously continuing to call him President Trump, Joe called him out as well. I was too innocent and too gay to deserve a pardon from Trump. I only mattered to Don Jr. when he needed to make a comment about me to boost his social media post. Boy, were we all stupid to believe he actually stood for equal justice. His corrupt friends all come first. So with all these things going on in the world of Joe Maldonado exotic, I have one question. Joe, can you send me a letter too? I think it would really help with the channel. I am Spartacus. And I'm sweaty. This hair is very warm. Not used to having hair. Our next story is about my former buddy, Doc Antle, known for his role on the Tiger King series, as well as for his humongous Tiger Sanctuary. Don't worry, I'm not going to do this voice the entire show. Doc was a great friend of mine, and interestingly enough, also of Jay Brewer. Crazy our voice similarities. I'm a little jealous actually. Anyway, Doc has now been sentenced to 2 years in prison for 2 felony counts of wildlife trafficking and 2 felony counts of conspiring to wildlife traffic. He was acquitted of the 5 counts of animal cruelty that he was also charged with. Over the years, Doc has seen over 35 USDA violations and is still under investigation for a money laundering scheme involving more than $500,000 made in an operation to smuggle people from Mexico into the United States, as well as several other charges related to the buying and selling of an endangered lemur, cheetahs, and a chimpanzee. Okay, I gotta stop the character. I'm just gonna talk to you like me, and now that I talk to you like me, like this, it's a little creepier, actually. I'm not going to change though, so enjoy this. Our next story is incredibly wholesome and one you may have seen. In 1990, a new turtle species was discovered, Irwin's turtle, named after the man who discovered it, Steve Irwin. And now, in a history-making event, for the first time ever, Irwin's turtle has been bred in captivity. Here's a clip of Steve's son, Robert Irwin, a conservationist in his own right, reacting to this awesome news about these turtles that his father discovered at Australia Zoo.
This is one of the highlights of my entire life and one of the most special moments ever for Australia Zoo. This is the very first Alcea irwini, Irwin's turtle, ever hatched for any zoological facility anywhere in the world. This species is a turtle that Dad originally discovered out in the wild. And for the first time, we've got a little baby. And right now, he's gonna get his first swim in a brand new pond. This is a little slice of the wild. Let's get him in the water. so surreal. And all the stories from Dad about just how amazing and beautiful they are. I don't get emotional that much.
Cheer it up.
Daddy did really grab me.
Dad'd be stoked with that.
It gets you right in the feels. I love that clip. It made my day when I saw it, so I had to share it with you. In the spirit of Halloween, I have one more story, article thing to share with you, and then I promise we'll get into the Chandler shuffle. First of all, it was a lot harder to find a reptile, spooky, Halloween-themed story than I thought it would be, until I came across this on Reddit. It appeared to be a study on the correlation between reptile owners and ghost sightings. But of course, I needed an actual source for these statistics. I couldn't just say I found it on Reddit. So after some digging, I was able to find the exact words and statistics. And they came from an article in Autostraddle. If you don't know what Autostraddle is, as I did not, it is an LGBTQ+ publication that seems primarily geared towards lesbian and bisexual women. While it does include all flavors of the rainbow, that does seem to be the main target audience. So why am I explaining all of this? It's because my first thought in finding this was, how do I explain to you guys, without you getting the wrong impression of me, what I was doing perusing a lesbian magazine? I don't read lesbian magazines, though you wouldn't know it. Not that there's anything wrong with that at all. You do you, boo. I'm not helping my cause here. I'm an ally. But it's not for me. Anyway, the article was titled, "It's True, Queer Women Own the Most Cats." So it's not even a reptile-related article. The article itself is all over the map, kind of like this video, but I will now read to you the one small excerpt. Here is the claim. Reptile/amphibian owners are the most likely to have ever seen a ghost. Like by far, 39% of reptile/amphibian owners have seen or been in the presence of a ghost. All other pet owners are at around 28 to 30%, and non-pet owners are at 18.5%. I can therefore safely conclude that ghosts are attracted to reptiles and amphibians, as well as animals in general. If you'd like to see a ghost, you should probably buy a lizard. What do you guys think of that? Let's just say, just for fun, that ghosts are totally real and these statistics are legit. I know I usually like to be very fact-based on here and vet my sources and all of that, but this is just for poops and giggles. I mean, I just spent half an hour trying to put on an eyebrow ring that would not stay because this hair is making me sweaty. Don't take this seriously. But if all of this were true, why do you think reptile people would be more likely to see ghosts? Why would this study, wherever it was done, come back the way it did? I think it's because we're more open-minded. Not everyone, maybe not even most. But there is something inherently open-minded about learning to love something that is statistically not loved by most people and even hated by many people. So I'm inclined to believe that reptile people are more likely to see ghosts and aliens. We're just kind of weird all around. Now the moment we've been waiting for. Try to keep some of that open-mindedness as we dig into Chandler's flippity-floppities and takesy-backsies. I did a video a couple of weeks ago covering Chandler's cobra bite and his promise to everyone never to free handle ever again.
I'm going to tell you this right now. I promise to my viewers, and I've already promised to my friends and my family, I've already promised to my girlfriend, I've already promised to everyone, I am never free handling on or off camera again out of respect for everyone that loves me and everyone that looks up to me and wants to get into this kind of stuff.
Not 5 minutes after I posted my video, I saw he had posted another brand new video where he is once again free handling cobras. Now after seeing that video, a lot of people took to the comments to let me know and get my take on it, since my video had been largely praising him for making a change. Now that a few weeks have passed, I've been asked to revisit this topic in the context of all that's come out since. So any Chandler clips from here on out in the video are going to be clips from that time forward. In case you didn't dig into the comment section the last time, we'll start with the second video he posted after the promise, where he decides he will actually be free handling his two massive cobras, Kevin and Justina. So here's Chandler for the first time since his bite, attempting to work with Kevin. We can see him very clearly trying to use the hook, and he just about has zero control here. Eventually he drops Kevin. Nothing about this interaction seems remotely safe. You can tell that Kevin is stressed out, Chandler is stressed out, and once again, Chandler doesn't have any control over Kevin, not the way he usually does. Once he gives up on the hook, it seems like he's able to move Kevin much more precisely, much more safely, and in my opinion, this was the right call for that situation.
I'm not going to free handle any of this stuff in this collection anymore. I'm not free handling the rattlers. I'm not free handling the mambas. But Kevin and Justina, if I make a mistake with these hooks, and I know some of you guys are experts watching this and you think you know every way to do everything and nobody should do certain things, I don't care. I'm not arguing with anyone anymore. I have to free handle this king cobra. I'm going to free handle this king cobra. And I'm sorry if that's going to upset some people because I promised that I wouldn't free handle anymore, but look at this guy. I'm going to gently use this hook to bring him out, and I'm going to free handle him into the enclosure. I know this animal well. This is not a random wild snake like how it was in India. But look at this. Look how much more comfortable and relaxed he is when I'm supporting his body and I'm not letting him slip off a freaking hook. I'm sorry if I sound pissed off, but I am. So yeah, I'm gonna use hooks for the rest of my animals, but if I have to handle Kevin a certain way to keep him comfortable, keep him relaxed, I'm gonna do it. I try to make everyone in the world happy, and I realize that at the end of the day, you can't make everyone happy. And Kevin, he's way more relaxed than when I was just trying to get him to that can.
Now the purpose of a snake hook is to make handling more safe. And usually that's the case. When looking at these two clips side by side, it seems obvious to me which of the two is safer handling for that specific snake in that specific situation. And it's the one that is safest for the handler and safest for the animal. And in this particular case, it's the one that doesn't look best on paper. Once again, in this very specific situation with this very specific animal, I think he made the right choice. There are very few times in life where things are as black and white or as good and bad as we would like to see them. I think Chandler chose between optics and backlash and his own actual safety and well-being of his animals, and he has said he will continue to use the hook with his other venomous, Justina and Kevin being the only exception. I can also completely understand why he's so frustrated in this video. He's trying to do his best to do what he promised to do, and it's just turning out more dangerous, and he knows he's going to get people saying, well, you're going back on your promise, and it kind of puts him between a rock and a hard place. And I'm glad that he chose safety over optics. So a big part of my take in the last video was how great it was to see his personal growth in this moment. This was in reaction to him saying he was not going to free handle anymore. Since saying that, Chandler's come out with 8 more videos. He is much better at uploading on schedule than I am. And I was asked to watch those fully. Most of them I had already watched, and to see if I still felt that way after watching them. Here's what I found. Chandler is still very high energy and outwardly shows how excited he is about these animals. Whether you find that annoying or not, I for one am glad for it. It would have been a real shame if his experience with that Indian cobra stripped him of that excitement. So his very next video after that is called Close Call, Feeding Venomous Snakes. And other than some quick strikes, there really doesn't seem to be anything major that stands out. He talks about spitting cobras, saying this.
You gotta love the spitters. I wish I could keep all the different types of spitters. They're my favorite snakes on the planet, but sadly, I do not like to get spit on with venom, and I don't like the risk of developing that allergic reaction. Look at that. Oh!
That's a pretty reasonable sentiment, I think, especially considering Steve Irwin is his idol, and Steve did things like this.
This is the Asian spit. Ah! Lucky I got these glasses on. He's spitting all over me. Also known as the equatorial cobra. Settle down, mate. Settle down now. And this is a big specimen. Crikey, this is a beauty. And look at the... Ah! Look at the way he's hooding up. They've got about a 6-foot strike range with their venom, and you... Ah! It's like acid. It's got a strong taste to it. It's got a real strong taste. Ah! He just keeps spitting.
All the love to Steve. At one point, while feeding his highly venomous Puebloan black snake, he decides it's better to just leave the rat in the enclosure than continue to try to tongue feed it because it's wildly striking all over the place trying to get this rat. Same with the black mamba and later with a king brown. Now there was one point with the brown where he struck and fell out of the enclosure, and in that moment, Chandler uses the tongs to support the body as though it's a snake hook and return him to his enclosure. Now I'm not going to go into as much detail with the other 7 videos because we would be here all day. So I'll just show some of the more nail-biting moments from those videos while I continue to monologue for another second. While we watch these, I want to point out a few things that I consider to be universal truths. 1, life is dangerous. Handling and keeping venomous animals is inherently dangerous. No matter how you're handling them or how much experience you have, it will always be dangerous. There's nothing that will ever make keeping venomous completely safe. All that can be done is risk management. Things like proper training, using a snake hook, locking enclosures, etc. If you're watching someone handle venomous, you're watching someone do something dangerous anyway. And I feel like a lot of the nitpicking comes from people who want it to be shown in a completely safe way, which, by its nature, it never will be. Does Chandler take unnecessary risks? Absolutely. But with the exception of milking snakes for anti-venom and medical reasons, it's all kind of an unnecessary risk. But he does it because he's passionate about it. And I'll tell you right now, the only reason that I don't have a blue and Solaris is because I'm a dad. If I was a guy by myself, I would probably get one. My point is, when you take care of these animals, you know there's a risk to your life. If you mess up, you're in trouble. And every professional who works with these animals goes into it knowing that. Tons of those people have been bitten. It's just the nature of the job. It's a risk that you take. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't be educated about it. And that doesn't mean that some little kid is gonna see what Chandler's doing and go out and grab and free handle a snake. I really don't believe that. If that's the reasoning, are we going, well, hopefully a kid goes out and grabs a venomous snake with a snake hook instead? No, if you don't know what you're doing, don't go grab a venomous snake, which is something that all of these guys say in their videos anyway. And I do understand people being nervous about new legislation being put in place if somebody gets bit because they were following the example of Chandler. But how many times in the news did we see child bit trying to emulate the crocodile hunter? Or kid picks up rattlesnake after watching the Jeff Corwin experience? We just didn't see that, you know? So it does make me feel like maybe there's a little bit of, I don't know how to say it. This is something that is in every walk of life. It's in religion, politics, and hobbies, where there is a lot of fear being pumped into things. Some of it is super legit. Like, I am behind US ARC 100% and all that they do for conservation and the community of reptile keepers. But I do think sometimes maybe we take it a little too far, where we think everything is a threat. But I understand there's a reason for it. We've been conditioned to believe that because oftentimes it has been. I'm just kind of speaking freely here. I don't know if I 100% believe what I'm saying right now. It's just a thought. So if you disagree with me, I'm not sure if I'm 100% on that myself. Just thinking out loud. But you are more than welcome to let me know in the comments. And while you're there, hit the like. That would be great. I would appreciate that. Even if you don't like what I'm saying right now, because I don't know if I like it either. I'm not trying to fence it. This is just something I haven't fleshed out in my brain just yet. Anyway, back to Chandler and these recent videos. So the second point here is that folks have said that his approach hasn't changed much, or that he's been back and forth about it. Personal growth is not linear. And this goes for every aspect, from quitting an addiction to just trying to be a more patient person. There will be days where you do really well and days you fail, but it doesn't mean growth isn't happening. I still think Chandler is pursuing growth. It takes a lot of time and effort to change a habit. Of course, with handling venomous snakes, a bad day could turn into a much worse day very quickly. But that doesn't mean that he's not implementing change. The last point is a point I've already made, but I'm going to reiterate it here because it needs to be said again. And that is that things are rarely ever as black and white as we want them to be. Could Chandler work on his risk management? Maybe take a refresher course in using a hook? Of course. Can his high energy approach be a bit much for some folks? Yes. But does he also try to educate and inspire the millions of people who watch his videos? And do his animals appear healthy and to be kept in decent conditions? Also yes and yes. This is getting long, so I'll wrap this up. I am not a Chandler apologist. There are things I'm not a fan of, like the whole speaking against US ARC thing, the parroting FWC when they said, "We're not coming for your pets." Though I did give him some leeway with that. I did a video on that if you want to check that out and you haven't seen it. I'll put it up here. And then, of course, him staying silent on the whole Holy Thursday massacre, even though it took place practically in his backyard. Obviously, if you've watched any of my other videos, you know how I feel about those things. But I'm not ready to go after the 4.5-fingered man myself. Let me know what you guys think down below. Are there other examples from recent videos that I missed that just really rubbed you the wrong way? This is all an opinion piece on my part. I could very well be wrong. I could be giving too much leeway and too much benefit of the doubt. It is a thing I do. But that's my take after watching all these videos up to this point. It really didn't change much. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that like. Remember to be kind to yourselves and each other. Happy Halloween, y'all. Thank y'all so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye. Mwah. Welcome back to the Scaly Scoop here on Tipping Scales. Now he's gone after... I hope nobody peeks in my window right now. Lemur.